67 people involved when this American Airlines plane was involved in a collision with that military helicopter, that Army Black Hawk. I want to bring back in our aviation correspondent, Tom Costello. You and I were just talking about what we are seeing on this screen here, Tom. The jaw-dropping photograph, the first image that we have seen so far of the wreckage in the Potomac River, obviously the banks of the Potomac, Reagan right behind it. A jaw-dropping image in this country, the first major commercial plane crash that we've had in this country in some 15 years.
That's right. Since 2009, we've had a remarkable record of aviation safety in this country, but shattered tonight at the nation's capital, literally just off of the National Mall, the Lincoln Memorial, and the White House. This has happened in the Potomac River, which sits between Washington, D.C. and the airport. And there's the airport there you see in the background. That shows you how close, for those of you who don't live around Washington, how close this is to the city. And the river is right off of the runway. What happened was American flight 5342 from Wichita, Kansas, inbound into Reagan Airport, landing just before 9 p.m. on runway 33, not the busiest runway at Reagan, but the one that handles the short-haul flights. But as it was approaching and making the final approach into the runway, it appears to have been hit, or it certainly collided with a Black Hawk helicopter, an Army helicopter with 3 crew members on board from Fort Belvoir, which is a base not far from Reagan Airport, about 20, 30 minutes south of Reagan Airport. And we're told that that was the Bravo company on a routine training flight. On board the flight, on board the regional jet, 64 people, crew and passengers. And we do not have word yet of anybody who's been rescued or recovered. There were some initial reports of some who might have been rescued, but we've heard no confirmation of that from authorities so far. 300 emergency rescue personnel responded from Washington, D.C., from across the river in Virginia, multiple jurisdictions, as well as Maryland, and state troopers and helicopters from across the region. And part of the challenge now, Hallie, because we're 4 hours and almost 4.5 hours into this, that water is very cold and very dangerous. And the chance of survival at this point is slipping by the minute, unfortunately. And these rescuers' lives are now what the focus has to be as well. You've got to make sure that they are safe when they're going into this very murky, dark water that's so cold. And the helicopter traffic over the airport, it has picked up dramatically as part of this rescue operation. So the intensity of what's happening on the ground and in the air right now, I just can't underscore enough that this is an ongoing emergency and lives are still on the line.